Hey guys, it's Drunken Furious, and I have come out of hiding to give you guys another Diablo 2 build guide. Today this one is going to be about the FireOrb Sorc. Now this is going to be the build that I'm going to be running for Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's normally what I start with. I'm not a very meta player. I don't like to always run the meta like everyone else with the Blizzard Sorc. The main advantage of running a FireOrb Sorc compared to like just pure Frozen Orb or pure Blizzard is going to be that you're going to specialize in the Fire skill tree and the Cold skill tree, so you're going to be able to farm a lot more areas. You're not going to be stuck to just Ancient Tunnels, you're not going to be just stuck to Mephisto. You're going to be able to farm my top three areas: the Pits, Ancient Tunnels, and Chaos Sanctuary. You can even throw Mephisto in there as well. The kill speed is almost on par with a Blizzard Sorc. So without further ado, let's get into it, guys. Alright guys, let's get into the stat points. So we put enough stat points into strength to wear our gear. We are wearing a 4-socketed Monarch, so we are going to need 156 strength, nothing into dex, nothing into energy, and the rest into vitality like any normal max vita setup. Now for the skill points, there are a lot of different ways that you can do it, but first let's start with the Cold skill tree. We put 1 point into Frozen Armor just for some added defense, extra survivability, and then 1 point into all of the prerequisites for Frozen Orb and then maxed Frozen Orb. We also maxed Cold Mastery. Now the reason that I maxed Cold Mastery is there are a lot of monsters specifically in the Chaos Sanctuary that are going to have 50 or more cold resistance. So this will ensure that we are bringing those monsters down, their cold res down, as far as we can, or as far as possible. So for lightning skills, we have 1 point into Telekinesis and 1 point into Teleport. And for the Fire skill tree, now I chose to put a lot more points into the Fire skill tree just to bolster my Fireball damage. Frozen Orb is pretty well with the maxed Cold Mastery, so I maxed out Firebolt and Fireball, and also put 1 point into Warmth just for that mana regen is really helpful, so you're not chugging tons of mana pots, and then the rest of my remaining points into Fire Mastery. Now at some point when you get a much higher level, it will be beneficial to start putting points, unlocking all these side skills to unlock Meteor, because you do get a added fire damage from Meteor, but I did test it. It is, with the skill points that I have right now, it is more damage to actually just max Fireball and Firebolt and then put the remaining into Fire Mastery. Now, like I said, there's so many different ways you can do it. You can put less emphasis on the fire spells and put more emphasis on the cold spells. Like you could put more points into Ice Bolt instead of putting it into Firebolt. Just depends on how you want to do it. This is how I did it, but that's the skill points. Okay guys, now so the gear. So for the mercenary weapon, we're using an insight in a cryptic axe. Now this is going to be important because we need that meditation aura, so we're not chugging like tons and tons of mana potions. And make sure that you make it in an elite 4-socketed pole arm. That's just going to give him more damage. There are sometimes when like Lord Desace or Infector spawns cold and fire immune, so you need your mercenary to have high damage to take them down efficiently. For the armor, we're going to be using a Treachery. Now this gives the Fade proc, which gives a bunch of resistance and also 15% damage reduction to your mercenary. It also has 45% increased attack speed so that he can attack faster. And for the helm, we're using a really budget helm, but it's still a really great option. Tal's Mask, it's going to give 10% life stolen per hit. It also gives 60 life and 15 all resistance. And he is an Act 2 offensive mercenary for the Might Aura, just so that we give him even more damage. Now for our gear, so as I said earlier, I am using 2 spirits. They're not perfect spirits. The most important thing is that you're going to want to reach 105 faster cast rate, so you're going to be slinging out fireballs as fast as possible. So Spirit in a Crystal Sword. For the helm, I'm using a Tarn helm. It gives 1 to all skills and 31 magic find. Now if you can't find this, you can also use a Talisman, just like your mercenary. Another really good option would be like a Peasant Crown. But if you can't come by that, a lore also works. You get 1 to all skills with that. For the amulet, I'm using a Nokazon. Now my res, they're pretty bad with this character, but when you're playing a Sorc, you really want to be teleporting around and just completely avoiding monsters if at all possible. So I'm wearing Nokazon just for the fire res, just to bolster that res a little bit more. It also gives some hit recovery. I am reaching the, I believe it's 5 or 6 frame FHR breakpoint, so if you do get hit by monsters, you're going to be able to teleport out of there a lot easier than if you didn't have that much faster hit recovery. For the shield, like I said, I'm wearing a Spirit and a Monarch. Now for the armor, I'm using Khagan's Wisdom. This gives 1 to all skills, faster cast rate, and faster hit recovery. This one might be a little bit harder to come by if you're just playing through the game. But if you don't get this, you can use a stealth. The only real difference between this and a stealth is you don't get the 1 to all skills. You actually get more faster cast rate and more hit recovery from a stealth. So if your spirits didn't roll as well, I mean mine are pretty bad, but if they rolled worse, you have a little bit more leeway with a stealth. For the boots, I'm wearing a pair of dual res and MF boots. You could find something super similar to this just on a playthrough. You could probably shop for boots that are similar to this or gamble them. For the rings, I'm wearing dual Nature ring just for some more MF, and a gold wrap for even more MF. And then the gloves, these are going to be the best gloves even for an endgame character, Mage Fists, 1 to fire skills to boost that fireball damage, and 20 FCR to reach that 105 FCR breakpoint. And for the inventory, I just have a bunch of small charms, life, res. These are just charms from my Bloody Stash. I just kind of grab random ones out. Looks like I have some MF on there. You can choose to have skillers, but this is a budget build, so I didn't put any skillers on. Depending on how you want to do it, do you want to do more cold damage? Do you want to do more fire damage with fire skillers? You can do kind of a mix of both of fire and cold skillers, but it's completely up to you. So let's get into a playthrough. Okay, just gonna do it on players 1. Gotta turn our sound on here. Let's go. So the only buff we have is the frozen armor. So just cast that, make sure we're buffed up, and proceed to slay everything and not teleport into a bunch of monsters. So you can see we have the fireball to deal with the fire immunes, and look at that, we got some rings and gauntlets. Whoops, and I just opened some random thing. Okay. And I like using telekinesis just to pick up potions. It's much easier than like getting really close to it and picking it up. And you want to kind of try to avoid everything. Just stay as far away as possible. It's really good when they clump up like on the stairs because the fireball and frozen orb just destroy them. And you can see on players 1, it's just, I mean, to be honest, you could probably run like players 3 and no problem. Maybe even players 5, I don't know, with this gear. You'd have to test it yourself. Okay, those are cold immune. Oops. Now the highest cold immune monsters in here, well, not cold immune, but the ones with the highest cold res that aren't immune are going to be the Devilkins. They have 40% cold res. So with that max cold mastery, we're actually bringing them down to 0% cold resistance. Hey, our mercenary leveled. You can see this just clears so fast. Ooh, that's a little scary though. Oh my god. Amped and archers. Monka S. That is scary. Just teleport around and avoid. And that's it, guys. Let me know if you like this build, and also let me know what other kind of build you want to see. With Diablo 2 Resurrected coming out very, very soon, I plan to not be in hiding and to do some more build guide videos for you guys. So if there's any ones that you want to see, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good one.